journey. I am sorry, last week I bought a wireless mic and adjustment was not there. So nothing is recorded. I checked it now, it is recording, so no issue. So we are moving from ignorance to wisdom. It's a knowledge oriented program. It is the knowledge of it. Dispassion is there. It's a knowledge of discernment is there in my intellect. If that is absent, then nothing can happen in my life. I may be a millionaire, I may be a billionaire, I will continue to suffer because of the delusion. Because of the delusion. So from today, you need to pay extra attention. You need to pay extra attention on the entire talk because in every talk I cover almost 10 to 15 different topics in a subtle way. So the more and more you are aware of those topics, your intellect will continue to live in the dispassion and you can easily hammer the delusion. So in the last session, we what we covered is the clinging creates the suffering, and the very singing or recognizing that delusion uh, drops my delusion. Delusion binds and dispassion liberates. Just think, delusion binds and dispassion liberates. That was the topic. So that last session we had a fifth realization: knowledge of the self, not the rituals alone, can bring freedom. What it means? You can say ritual is a practice. Oh, I have been doing the practice for every day without fail. But without awareness, it will definitely fail, my friends. It will not work. Billions of people are doing the practice of meditation. How many of them succeed? You are already aware. Almost we have 8 billion people. So, according to one estimate, there are almost 27% of the people do one or the other practice of meditation. So, more than a billion people. How many of people succeed? 1 minute of meditation, 5 minutes of meditation, that becomes a ritual. But ritual without understanding, without clarity, it will not work. It has never worked. So knowledge now, without knowledge, now knowledge demands a change in behavior, my inner attitude. Any knowledge demands a change in my behavior, change in my attitude, especially in the Eastern wisdom. And ritual demands a habitual practice. Daily, days, and weeks, we are doing the practice, but there is no change. Our topic, maintain awareness that our topic is hammering the delusion, which results into movement from the ignorance to wisdom. Ignorance to the wisdom. Ultimately, everything boils down to self-inquiry. Am I stressed? Oh, let me do the inquiry. Is the stress coming from inside or outside? And if the stress and the suffering and anxiety is coming from outside, can I become aware? Can I prevent what is coming from outside? Or it is my interpretation in my mind about that suffering. I come to you, no, you will treat me as a very, very low guy, so that I should show something. I should manifest thing. I should, huh? So what happens? I buy $100 shoes and a tie. The first impression, everything goes away. Nothing remains, my friend. Nothing remains. What you are will only remain. So that is the another meaning of this self-inquiry. Self-inquiry is the path to the awakening, path to the awakening. So delusion has been explained in 7 different ways. Whether I say foolishness, whether I say scattered mind, whether I say attachment, emotional dependence, selfishness, intellectual paralysis, and constantly changing desire. I'm not able to focus. Am I responsible for that? You are not able to focus. Why don't you inquire? Why your mind is not able to focus? So, one delusion is explained in 7 different ways. Why? To help us understand whether I'm in delusion or not. Clear. Now, the remedial steps are 5, but it boils down to only one. Either you work on the mind or mind is working on you. In order to know mind is working on me or I am working on the mind, I need discernment. I need dispassion, my friend. So the moment I become aware, in the moment of discernment, I see, oh, there are false assumptions. So I challenge the false assumption, and then one of the most beautiful words coming from here, that listening and learning constantly, contemplation and reflection, plus the practice, it results into a sense of detachment. Look at the delusion factor from attachment to detachment. So they are all are interconnected. And then I specifically wrote, because of the verse, the third factor, the remedial step, is discernment and dispassion. From delusion and division to discernment and dispassion. And then I recognize it is the false self. Why should I run after the false self? How should Terry look at it? She is not able to speak anything, but she understands inside. She is listening. She has that level of awareness. So there are 2 things. I am not able to express myself because some challenges in the body. But can I live into the peace in spite of those challenges? The answer is yes. Answer is yes. And that is sometimes what happens. We have cold and cough, we are not able to speak. No, no, I'm okay. We indicate. You get out of the release, you get out of the delusion completely. So the 2 major steps I said, remedial steps. And then I said, we should remember the 5 realizations. Mind lives in the wisdom. And the last one I said, you are working on the mind or mind is working on you. So if I work on the mind, now mind lives in wisdom. It has a smile. It has a sense of emotional freedom. And then you can continue living your life. But the second realization is important because the mind constantly identifies itself with the body, that I am the body. And I explained about the 7 factors. And the third realization is the outer change is not required. I know we say first impression. No, it is not required. Think of it. I'm not saying that it does not mean that, you should wear the dirty clothes and uh, wear like me. No, you should adjust everything. So outer change is not as important as the inner change, if I say it. Make it clear. And then we should recognize the moment of hypocrisy in our life, in our thought, in our speech, in our action. How to recognize there is a duality in the mind when I'm talking to you, when I'm talking in my relationship, when I'm expressing something outside. There is a sense of duality. Something is inside and something different comes outside. That is one way to understand. And the fifth realization is the knowledge of the self, not the rituals alone can bring the freedom. Means you are simply doing the practice habitually, it will not bring. The AI cannot bring a change in your behavior. So we already have an artificial intelligence because I learned some practices and I know how to repeat it habitually. AI is fundamentally a habitual. What is feeded, what is fed there, it comes out. What is not there, what is not there, awareness is not there, consciousness is not there. Artificial intelligence can solve problem, can write the article within 5 minutes, which may take about 2 hours or 3 hours to write. Consciousness is not there. So, realization. So, remember this. First, delusion part. Second is the remedy. Third is the realization. And now, still, we lack something. So, that what is lacking something? Now, all our verses are coming, which says, recognize. That is the fourth category. Remind, recognize, revise, and repeat. Until what time? Until you feel you wake up in the morning, you are totally free from the delusion. You sleep in the evening, you are free from the delusion. You are talking to someone, you have a sense of the freedom. Sense of the freedom is there. Oh, freedom you talk, freedom you wake up, and you see, then you can think of the life. What happens to the life? The life is already always full of the joy. So there are different ways of repetition. So now is the fourth category. I say 4R. Remind. When to remind? Every day in the morning. You wake up, it takes hardly a minute or a few seconds. When I wake up in the morning, and in the beginning, I used to keep my picture of my master in front of me. So I said, no, I will wake up like this. So, okay, my master. So the same way, you can do it in a different way. You can keep the notebook, remind yourself. Simply writing notes will not do. Understand? So that is why I'm saying remind, recognize, revise, and repeat. Oh, my master told me that you are the real self. So I don't, you see, that is a gratitude, paying gratitude to my master when I recognize that I am the real self. That is done. So there are many ways. So we are going to talk about this. Master is going to talk about in this text that. So what is that? He says, I must remember discernment and dispassion first before any practice. Discernment and dispassion before any practice. This is what the master is saying. I'm looking at the verse. Yes, discernment and dispassion first before any practice. That I need to remind. What it means, you wake up in the morning and you had some conflict with someone yesterday in the night, and the mind reminds you of that event. Discernment. The son has said you something. Discernment. I have to remind myself. I have not to be judgmental. Instead, I have to follow the path of the discernment, and then you will see it takes only a few seconds. Your that conflict it dissolves completely. So the one verse is constantly being repeated in this text. Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam, Bhaja Mudhamate, O foolish mind. Remind yourself, recognize that you have the power of discernment. Now I'm translating in a different way. Foolishness means that I'm in stress, I'm into anxiety, I'm into conflict, I'm into duality. No, no, not at all. When? Anytime, anywhere. In what location? In all the locations. You are making your mind more aware. You are moving from the delusion by reminding yourself that I have to discern before I accept any event in the world outside. Whether it took place with my husband, wife, son, daughter, society, world. Remind, recognize, revise, and repeat. So I repeat in the mind, oh, this is what is happening. This is so how I used to remember, this is what my master told me, that you cannot be in stress. How dare you, mind you are putting me into the stress. I challenge. This is the discernment. And being judgmental, no, he said me something and he blamed me. That's why I feel I don't want to talk. Well, you don't want to talk, don't talk. It is finished. But I keep on repeating it. So why keep on repeating? The first category, delusion, foolishness. Now it is the time for you to analyze and contemplate your life and tell me your experiences, whether it is happening or not. Or you simply blame the mind, oh no, it's not happening, sir. I am very weak. Again, comes to the first category. Remedial steps are there. These verses are extremely important. So this master says that living in a temple, this is ancient days, and then I will translate into modern perspective. So the master has written the verse, which means living in a temple or at the foot of the trees. Now I'm doing an austerity. Do you remember what I'm going to say? I'm on dieting. That's why I'm feeling weak. That is not required. You have to understand this. I'm dieting. Or a lot of stuff. So living in the temple or at the foot of the trees, sleeping on the ground. Now I went for a retreat for 7 days, wearing deer skin. Wearing deer skin. This is all kind of false austerity. False penance is not required. That will put you into a lot of hypocrisy. Renouncing all possessions and their enjoyment, to whom will not dispassion bring the happiness. Now you're doing all these activities on one side, and on the other side there is a dispassion. On one side there is a dispassion in your intellect, on the other side you are dieting. Why don't you control your palate every day rather than dieting for 7 days? I'm just translating in a modern word. I think after a year after the COVID, I went to Jerry's in David home, and she said, "Oh, you have lost so much of weight. So simple to lose the weight. So simple." I think Jerry remembers. So simple. I said, I'm living in my house, so it's purely a sedentary lifestyle. So let me start eating the salad. When I went to the doctor, and doctor said, tell me which dressing you are adding into the salad. I said, no dressing. I dress it with the water. And I still continue that. I feel so light. Good. So you apply the dispassion rather than dieting. These are practical solutions we have. I'm just giving one example to this. And if you apply this, you will be happy. Now what happened, it has been almost 3 years. Every time my mind reminds me of salad without any dressing. So there is no constipation because you live a sedentary lifestyle. Even I do some physical activities. So you see that remind, recognize, repeat, it is going to change your life. Not only internally at the spiritual level, but also at the physical and the mental level. So you are breaking through these ritualistic practices. These are ritualistic practices. I will do dieting for a week and then I will overburden my belly the next week. Why it is come from? Because of the delusion. So I attack the delusion at the root for anything, for my relationship. I attack the root. No, I will not talk. No, let me talk in dispassion. Let me communicate in dispassion. But if other is not willing to talk, then it's okay. So you remain happy. Think. I'm just, now from today's lesson, this fourth category demands more of a thinking in your life. Outer ritual or a practice should match the inner state of the mind. That is the message. In this verse, let me perform the ritual. Let me do namaste, but it should match inner state of my mind. When women says that you are my master, and then next moment she fights with me. As if I do not understand. So what is going to happen? You are preventing your attitude, this kind of a attitude, the delusive attitude, because that will make you happy. Outer ritual or a practice should match the inner state of the mind. So am I saying that you don't do dieting? Yes, do it. But at the same time, you should have the inner state of the mind. The mind is not craving for anything. And if you have a dieting, it will definitely bring the result. This is what I mean. I don't mean that anything outside at this time is wrong. Everything is right. This is what the master, turning inward through external renouncing particular behavior, turning your mind inside while at the same time you are rejecting something outside in order to progress. Oh, I will teach him a lesson. Stop this. Turn your mind inside. Are you getting it? Turn your mind inside. Mind says, no, I will teach him a lesson. One among you, no, I don't want to name, one among you wanted to teach me a lesson, and he always tried to call me and I disconnect the phone. You are in anger, so whatever you speak will, I can disconnect it 10 times. So in that fit of the delusion, your mind is not able to think. Your outer behavior does not match with the inner state. This is what the master is saying. Do everything, but you see, does it match? No, I'm holding on my tongue, I cannot eat for 7 days. Are you dieting to increase your stress, or are you dieting to decrease your weight? Unnecessarily. No, I'm not hitting those, diet experts. Just understand this, what I want to say. Discovering what truly lasts is moving from outside to inside. So this master has gone very deep to make us understand. Living unfettered through the self-inquiry. You do the self-inquiry and you see that, yes, unfettered. What it means? It means that I'm dropping all my psychological dependencies. Go back to the first category, emotional dependence. I check that. No, I have a binge eating. It is emotional dependence or attachment. You can bring 7 factors. Whenever you suffer from any form of anxiety, duality, stress, and pain, just look back at the 7 factors. And you will see. And then apply the remedial steps. And then you return to, oh, I reminded myself, I repeated, oh, that is the way I can live into that state of peace and calmness. It is possible, 100% possible. It has been tried. So if psychological dependencies creates a creates a discord or a distance between my outer behavior and the inner state of the mind. I think you all will agree with me, or if you don't agree, then contemplate and reflect. Without clinging to a specific condition outside for security or for happiness, I can draw upon the inner stillness. First, let me have the inner stillness unaffected by the outer fluctuations. So you have applied the remedial step in your life. It is going to change you. I can bet you. But it demands an extraordinary awareness. That is our fourth step, fourth category. You have to remind, you have to recognize, you have to revise, and you have to revisit. 4R. You need not to remind yourself about me. You remind of those principles. They are constantly working in your head, and that results into dispassion, and you are free. Anywhere, at home, anywhere and everywhere, in all the locations, you can do this. What is going to happen? You will find the boundless joy is there inside you. The joy will definitely be there. There is a recognition, oh, I'm full of joy. I was just, entered into such a futile things in my life. Let me drop it. So sometime you will recognize it is because of the ego. At other times you will recognize it is because of the foolishness. Third time you recognize all one or many of the seven factors. You will recognize, oh, this was the foolishness. Oh, this was my emotional dependency. Oh, this is an attachment. This is an ego. Oh, let me drop it. Why my mind is wandering? This is the fourth category. You instantly remind yourself, can I not get rid of all these problems once and for all? Yes, only at the time of the death. Mind has to work in the world. Mind will continue to have different perception. Mind, nature of the mind will remain the nature of the mind means it has to perceive the things. If it is black, I have to see it is black. If it is white, I have to see it white. But other people will get annoyed. So I have to check with the discretion that how to live my life. You see, I'm just stressing upon the fourth category. Remind, uh, remind yourself, recognize. Remind for what you recognize. Don't do it as a ritual. No, I remind myself that I'm living in dispassion, but I got angry over someone. That is a ritual. Are you getting it? No, we are going a little deeper. Huh? No, I was very much angry in spite of the fact that I was living in dispassion. You are telling a lie. How can you enter into hesitation when you are in the state of dispassion? There is no possible. It is not possible. So you're reminding yourself is wrong, is hypocrisy. Then I have to check again. So that is how we have to take the meditation 24/7 by contemplation and reflection. I remember a story I have told you many a times, but I'll repeat that story. So, a young guy who who was a seeker, intense seeker, but guided by the delusion. And he came to know that 2,000 miles away from one corner of India to the other corner in the Himalayan region, there is a women master. So he started traveling. It took him almost 3 months in those days, couple of hundred of years ago. He reached there, and women master asked him, "Okay, so what do you want?" "Now, master, I have come here to know that who am I?" So the master said that, take rest and I'll tell you tomorrow in the morning. So the master woke up tomorrow early in the morning, and she went outside under a tree and she started searching something. So this guy woke up, and he said, "What master is searching early in the morning?" So he asked, "Now I'm searching a needle that is lost here." "So where the needle is lost?" "The needle is lost in my cottage, and you are searching here." So the boy said, "I have already heard about you, that you are a crazy master." So women master said, "Listen to me. You traveled 2,000 miles to find out who am I. You are doing the same thing. You should have been sat there inside and you should have moved your mind. Why you have traveled 2,000 miles?" So to teach you, I started searching the needle under a tree which is lost in my cottage. That is a perfect example of a delusion. So I become agitated over you because I'm searching peace in you where the peace is not, where the joy is not, where the happiness is not, where the love is not. This is a reminder. When you remind yourself, I'm not going to talk too much, how long it takes you to remind yourself. If I am in a delusion, it will take millions of years, many births. But if I am a seeker, it takes a fraction of a second. You withdraw yourself from that situation, from that condition, from that relationship. And that is going to leave you in the state of meditation. Close your eyes, and eyes are closed. Find out the most comfortable position of the body and the place. More verses are so beautiful. It's worth rewarding even if you listen to them. So eyes are closed. You're sitting in a position which is comfortable. And now I need not to explain in detail. Do you see that a couple of years ago I used to spend more than 10 minutes how to become comfortable and carefree. And now I know that I need not to spend. You all are seekers. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu. Because I can only enter into the discernment and dispassion by thinking. So mantra is, take it as a thinking. Don't don't treat this mantra as a ritual. Oh, when I perform the ritual, it will help me. No, it will create more delusion. So that is why I always say knowledge, let there be happiness for everyone. Let everyone be happy. And then we go little deeper through the reflection. Happiness is the essential nature of everyone. No, but I said that he becomes angry over me because of the delusion. Behind the delusion, everyone is seeking happiness. Do you see when you move your mind with this thought, does your anger against a person minimizes or not? If it minimizes, you are a seeker. If it is not, you need more practice. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu. May there be peace for all. At least one idea, one thought should enter into your head what you have learned over these weeks and the months. If it is not happening, that is why the fourth category I said. Peace is my essential nature. If it is my essential nature, it is the essential nature of everyone, all the beings. Then why I'm fighting? Why I'm entering into ego? You see, you can explain all the seven factors easily. Sarvesham Puranam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Puranam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Puranam Bhavatu. May there be completeness in all. Pay little more attention to this uh, line. May there be completeness in all. I enter into delusion only when I feel the sense of incompleteness. So, reminder of the seven factors: I act, behave, think foolishly, or out of the emotional attachment, or because of the ego, or because of the intellectual paralysis. Only when I feel the sense of completeness will come from outside. This in this just after the session, throughout the day and the night, you just think of it. Keep that in your head. Remind yourself, and you will see, oh, yes, you're right. Not I'm right. Masters is right. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. So, this is also the way to purify the mind. Auspiciousness also means you know the rail track. There are two tracks, the parallel lines moves. How do you recognize delusion is one line and the discernment is one line? It comes by the dispassion, and dispassion is in the middle. You instantly recognize. I'm just giving you an understanding of the fourth category: remind, recognize, revise, and repeat to help the mind to settle into this Eastern wisdom. There is a promise that you will always live in the joy, in that calmness, in that peace, in that love, in that wisdom. And that is what we are seeking. That is one of the motivation inspires you to be in the session. That is where we are heading to. But we will not leave until we reach to a particular state. That is what I will help you recognize that state. Look deep inside the forehead. Look deep inside the forehead in the space and draw, say Om Shanti there, and start breathing quick and short breath from both the nostrils. Start breathing. We have, for the last two sessions, I think we have done minimum 9 minutes. And it is possible. It is possible. Continue. Just continue. Sometime your mind, suddenly stops you. It's okay. Return again and continue doing it. That is also the meaning of enduring it. You endure it. You may feel your mind say, "Oh, you have a variety, you have unusual experiences. Let me stop." You all are seekers. It is a disclaimer for others, not for you, including Terry. Continue, you will discover variety of experiences, and it is happening because of the movement of the prana into every cell of the body. That is what we say in the Eastern wisdom. If you regulate the prana, your mind is regulated. So, through the prana, through the breathing, we are regulating the prana. It cannot happen by those practices of the pranayama just you are doing for a minute or so. No. Pranayama is such a great but very challenging practice. We challenge our mind completely. Body remains steady, remember, just a reminder. You see that why I repeat all these steps again and again. So, in fact, I always added the fourth category all the time in all the practices, in all the talks. Mind needs that kind of a reminder, a repetition, a recognition. Sometimes we repeat, mind doesn't recognize. Continue. In the beginning, only one type of the breathing is enough if we complete for 9 minutes, and then we will have more time and less talk. So our duration of the meditation will increase in the live session, and then you can also do it on your own. Just continue enduring, recognizing the changes in the experience, and continue to drop the Om Shanti. Something typical will happen when you are dropping the Om Shanti. Every time you drop the Om Shanti, find out do you have a different sensation. You see, I'm opening up the Normally, people say mystical steps. Nothing is mystical in this journey. Everything can be understood, experienced, known. Sometimes the mind suddenly stops the breathing. It's okay. You remind yourself and keep on doing it. It will happen in the beginning. But gradually, what happens? You can easily do it. And when you can easily do it, you'll find a tremendous change in your behavior and attitude. You may find as if something inside the head opens up. So normally, that is explained in the text as if the light appears inside the head in deeper meditation. Continue, you will not feel exhausted, but on the other hand, you'll feel liberated because Om Shanti is happening inside your forehead. You keep the body in the state of the steadiness. And after all, why you should be exhausted? Because you are not running, you are not jogging. But that realization comes sooner or later. And stop it. Today also we completed 9 minutes. Just keep looking at the flow of the breath. It's very important. I have explained it earlier. The flow of the breath is equal. You will find almost it becomes equal. Even after 9 minutes, if it is not equal, then we need to repeat the practice every day without fail to reach to that state. And if the flow of both the nostrils is equal, just enjoy that state. You will find a state of inner calmness. There is no doubt about it. That is how the Tantra explains that you can know the state of the mind by the flow of the breath. This is only one point. If the flow is dominated in the right nostril, it means something else. If the flow is dominated from the left nostril, it means something else. That is why it looks mystical. Nothing is mystical. Now is the time. Just keep on the flow, awareness on the flow of the breath. You'll also find is a kind of withdrawal from the external world. It doesn't mean that you are not aware. You are aware. You are listening. You are attending the session. That is all. You are aware. But still, you are withdrawn from the world outside. You have that sense, that feeling, that experience. That withdrawal keeps the body totally steady, mind calm and relaxed. That needs to be realized. We are going to realize that in our sessions. And now is the time to bring the Om Shanti on the 16 segments of a finger. And I explained you before, you may say Om Shanti mentally, loud, mentally. So you may sing like Om Shanti, or you may do it Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om. So you have to recognize how the mind is working with the Om Shanti, because we have to work on the mind. Mind should not work on me. Mind is simply saying Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti. No, no, I'm doing it. I've completed half-heartedly. No, it will not work. That is what we talk today. Um, do you remember the mind sight, mind seer, mind speech? That sense of withdrawal inside, in all the senses as if working within the mind. What it means, you are moving inside. You have that awareness and experience. And now moving the mind inside the cave of your heart, visualizing the triangle of any color, and moving the mind on a triangle with Om Shanti. For what you have already understood, for sinking. And if you see the mind is sinking with clockwise and anti clockwise, that is the moment. Om. Om is pushing the mind inside. Mind seemingly stops. And then you say Shanti. Why I say mind seemingly stops? Mind cannot stop. It never stops. It is made up of the activity or letharginess. But when we experience mind seemingly stops, we have already in a transition, we have transcended the mind. Can that be experienced? Yes. Nothing is mystical. Shanti. And any time that harmony breaks up, you can still bring the harmony by the triangle again. It is not. We should not fall back into the delusion. We should return. Shanti is also gone because there is a self absorption there. It only returns, and that is a reminder, that is a recognition. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Lift your both palms, place it on your eyes. Open the eyes inside the palms. Know your experiences. Bring the hands down. We'll share our experiences to understand deeper. How are you, Stephen?
Good, sir. Thank you. I've said this to you many times over the years, that sometimes I just think that you're following me. But your entire lesson today was the exact conversation that Sam and I had 2 days ago. And we talked about the importance of looking at the knowledge that we have, and not talking about it from, knowledge has information, but knowledge also has past impressions and interpretations. And it's important to always keep looking at the knowledge for the knowledge, and realize that things are as they are. And then the importance of this whole journey is, as I put to the top of it, is awareness. Is becoming aware of all of that knowledge, and then within that awareness is being able to check the desire, to check the ego, to check the delusion, the ignorance, and all of that, and then be able to look at it from, as I've said before, the inside out and not the outside in. And the conversation goes is that we spend so much time looking at the outside in, and it affects us on all multiple levels. And by just reversing this entire thing and taking responsibility and doing self-inquiry, whatever it is, it's all of it together. And then we talked about David and his references to the toolbox, and the importance of when to use the tools, but you need to be aware of what the situation is in order to know what tools to use. And so I found that to be, again, you as if you're sitting with us, which I guess as our master you kind of are. As far as my meditation goes, it started out as a light show. All this light, as soon as I closed my eyes, this light was swirling around me in multiple colors, and then somewhere in between the breathing, you made mention that, oh, you might be seeing all this light and stuff like that, and I was like, how did he know this is going on? And it was the entire meditation was this light was going on, and I was trying to just separate myself from it and say, observe the light, but don't worry about the light, and just stay with your meditation. And it went so fast. So thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful explanation. The more you explain about your experiences, it means the knowledge is being digested and assimilated. So you see, if I summarize, the knowledge that I am stressed, and the knowledge of the Eastern wisdom is a reminder that there is no stress. It is because of the delusion. And there the mind starts working. And the mind moves in a right direction, and it goes. And if it does not move in a right direction, then one remembers saying that I'm lonely for the last 5 years. And before that, I was in conflict. Before that, I don't want to continue that story. How are you, David and Jerry?
Good morning, sir. As always, a wonderful practice. The theme for my practice was awareness of the mind, and during the fast breathing, I thought I was going to sneeze, and I said to myself, mind, you want to sneeze, I don't need to sneeze, just focus on Om Shanti. And I did, and obviously I didn't sneeze. And then when we were doing the japa, I went right away into, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti. I'm like, mind, why are you going so fast? Slow down and just enjoy everyone. So I started going Om Shanti, taking my time. I was controlling the mind. And then by the time I got into the heart center, felt like I was right inside my body, inside my chest of my body. So it was very, very aware and very deep.
Very good. You recognize, why you are running fast. Because running fast is obviously is a habitual pattern. The mind just wants to finish it up. And why it wants to finish up? To again go into the delusions. So the moment you have broken that chain, that helps us to go deeper into the meditation practice. Beautiful. How are you, Jerry?
Thank you, sir. I'm good. I love the recognize or remember, recognize, revisit, and repeat. I really, really like that. And I feel like that works all the time.
Yes.
So it works in all the situations.
All
Every
this. Yeah.
I really liked it. And my meditation was deep.
Meditation will
It
be.
was interesting for me with the deep breathing or the fast breathing. And you said it 9 minutes. And you said it at the beginning, and right away there was a equal rhythm, a equal breathing through the nostrils, a nice mantra rhythm. And the mind was busy though, focusing on the 9 minutes, a minute. And it was interesting to watch the mind and also watch the calmness. So there's always that busyness of the outside world, and there's always the calmness.
Yes, you are right. Busyness is always in the external world. How can you be busy inside? Because there is only one, and that is you. But how I am busy inside? Because of the ego. Now there is no real I, it is the false I. So what the false I does, the false I brings millions of the thoughts. And again, you go back, but very important, you rightly said, remind, recognize, revisit, and revise. But what to revisit if you don't remember the first three stages? So I have to remember all those things in the beginning. After that, you don't need that. You don't need that. But it's a beautiful. You liked it, yeah. How are you, Brandy?
Hey, I'm good. Today, the lesson today was a really good reminder that I already know what to do. You know, it's like when the ego and the false self get involved, then I don't think I know what to do and things get mixed up. But really, if I can move past that, I know what to do. And it's just be dispassionate, right? Not be involved.
How is your mom?
My mom?
Yeah.
She's okay.
She's okay.
That's always a good question when I bring up the reminder thing, huh?
No, I will not speak too much about it. I simply asked you, how is your mom? How are you, Christian?
Thank you. The meditation felt extremely fast today. And then you had mentioned the mind opening. The mind opening. For a while, I've been experiencing almost like something opening and a download of something. So it sort of helped me to connect that's what's happening there.
Yeah, we are going to understand that whatever the experiences we have, the opening and like what Stephen also experienced. So you have the vision of those colors. So once we reach there, we will understand that how we can open ourselves to that higher consciousness. That is what we generally talk about it. So how are you, Vaibhav?
Thank you, sir. Some practice was good. It was calm, quiet.
Calm and quiet. Good. Very good. And how are you, Dennis?
Thank you. It was a deep, quiet, and peaceful meditation, in spite of the fact that I'm having a flu with all the symptoms like cough, sneezing, blocked nose, and such. But after the breathing, only a dark space was there with no distractions from the body.
Yes, that is a good example. He is very committed, I know. And so normally I gave an example of the women. Last session, she told me that I have a killer headache. Can we do this session next day? I said, I have a killer solution. So, killer headache, So normally what we try to avoid it. And that avoidance of the practice comes from the delusion. And if you recognize, so he has recognized, now let me do it. And when you do it, you find everything has changed. Why? it is not because of the practice, it is because that we are the real self, we are the pure conscious. But yes, the practice came in the middle. How are you, Terry? If you cannot speak, it's okay. You wave your hand. And if you can speak, so sometimes I'm also not able to speak, a lot of kitch is there in the throat. So it's okay.
I don't know until I try.
Oh, you started speaking. Very good.
Yeah, I'm on the triangle. I've always assumed that you mean that it synchronizes.
Yeah.
Is that okay? I never quite get all the way there to the end. So that's what I'm working on.
You do this practice repeatedly today, maybe 3 and 4 times. And every time we will recognize you do one practice and then you start singing. And then do the practice and again start singing. And then see that whether your speech improves or not. So what is the most important point? That you have to pick up that center of the consciousness from where you started speaking inside. And that resolves the problem. Yes, on the other side, I will take it, all this, what the doctors say, modern doctors say, we will also understand. That is also a part of the knowledge. But this is also a part of the knowledge. How are you, Ashok?
Namaste, sir.
Namaste, sir.
Sir, I am good, fine, peace and calm.
Peace
Thank
and calm.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Samir has left. Oh, I will pick him the first, So remember remind, recognize, revise and repeat. But if you cannot revise, if you don't know the first 3 categories, and now see the most beautiful part of the journey, that everything is happening in the mind. Everything is happening in the mind. The mind changes the direction, mind calms down, mind lifts its awareness, mind enters into the higher awareness. That is all for today. Thank you very much. We'll meet in the
Thank you, sir. Namaste,
Thank
everyone.
Thank you, sir.
you.
Namaste.
Bless.
Namaste,
We
everyone.
will